Noah Lyles has declared time and again his destiny to become faster than Usain Bolt. He intends to shatter Bolt's mythic records, but the legend himself has already fired back. "Hey bro, stop it." And with those simple words, a spark ignited a raging inferno. The old emperor reminding the world who forged the throne and the young challenger daring to believe he could conquer it. Now the ultimate question hangs in the air. Can anyone truly outrun the colossal shadow of Usain Bolt? While Lyles is convinced he is ready to achieve the impossible, many legends are far from persuaded. To them, Bolt's 9.58 and 19.19 seconds are not mere numbers. They are hallowed scriptures. So let us ask, are these records truly untouchable? What does Lyles' very own biomechanics reveal? Can he genuinely demolish Usain Bolt's legacy? To truly grasp what Lyles is pursuing, one must revisit the very moment that redefined sprinting forever. It was August 16th, 2009 in Berlin. The entire world watched in utter disbelief as a towering Jamaican sprinter named Usain Bolt blazed down the track, his body a perfect machine, arms slicing the air, the roar of the crowd at his back. The clock froze at 9.58 seconds a time, so blindingly fast it defied reality. Commentators lost their voices, fans wept openly, and the laws of physics seemed to bow for one singular moment in all of human history. Just 4 days later, Bolt repeated the miracle in the 200 meters. This time, 19.19 seconds. On paper, they are just digits, but in reality they are seemingly divine. They have withstood over a decade of technological leaps. Superior shoes, faster tracks, revolutionary nutrition, and countless world-class athletes have all tried to conquer them, yet none have even approached their brilliance. Bolt's greatness wasn't confined to his times. It was in his relentless consistency, his absolute dominance, and the pure, unadulterated spectacle he delivered in every single race. He didn't simply win, he commanded every second. From Beijing to London and then to Rio, he transformed the 100 and 200 meters into his own grand stage. His legendary showmanship, the iconic lightning pose, that confident grin before the gun, and the triumphant chest thump at the finish line, he remade the image of an athlete into that of a global superstar. Just consider it. Olympic finals, world championships, high stakes. Diamond League meets Bolt, never buckled under the immense pressure. He reveled in it. His performances were never just occasional flashes of genius. They constituted a reign of terror on the track that lasted for nearly a decade. When he stood on the line, it was never just another race. It was history, eagerly waiting for him to write the next chapter. Even now, those records are revered as sacred relics in the world of athletics. Coaches pore over them, scientists deconstruct them, and a generation of sprinters can only dream of them. Every star who has emerged since Bolt has measured their own worth by how close they could get to those impossible digits. No one until this moment has had the audacity to say they will surpass them. And this is precisely where Noah Lyles storms into the narrative. The American sprinter isn't just incredibly fast. He is utterly fearless, armed with bold proclamations, a vibrant magnetic energy, and an unyielding faith in his own destiny. He has seized the spotlight in a way no one has managed since Bolt's retirement. For Lyles, this isn't about emulating the legend. It's about dethroning him. His personal best of 19.31 seconds in 2022 sent shockwaves across the entire globe. In an instant, fans and analysts began to whisper, could this truly be the man fated to challenge Bolt's 200-meter supremacy? That time was so much more than just figures on a screen. It officially made Lyles the closest man to Bolt's record since Johann Blake's 19.26 in 2011. And this wasn't merely about raw speed. It was a sign of a fundamental evolution of a new era finally dawning. Then 2025 arrived. He blazed to 9.89 seconds in, The 100 meters, a blistering pace by any mortal measure, yet still 0.31 seconds shy of Bolt's godlike world record. In the realm of sprinting, that gap is an eternity. The margin may appear minuscule, but in this elite battlefield every hundredth of a second counts. That is the monolithic mountain he's attempting to conquer. But what truly sets Lyles apart isn't merely his speed, it is his unyielding resilience. Few can comprehend how close he was to quitting forever. There were agonizing seasons when his own body betrayed him, when the injuries piled up like crushing debts and his times began to slip away. But Lyles simply refused to disappear. He trained with more fervor, refined his form to perfection, and completely rebuilt his mind. By 2025, he wasn't just making a comeback. He was reborn, better, faster, and far hungrier. 4 world titles in the 200 meters, the same number as Bolt. That is not a simple coincidence. That is undeniable proof. Proof that this is not some fleeting streak or a fortunate season. It is the mark of consistency, the kind that only true undisputed champions possess. He has defeated the very best in the world under crushing pressure on the grandest stages, and every single time he steps onto that track, he looks more dangerous, more confident, more terrifyingly determined. Just watch him run and you will see it for yourself. The rhythm, the posture, the almost supernatural balance. Lyles is poetry in breathtaking motion. His start may not erupt with the force of Bolt's, but the moment he hits his glorious stride, his form is nothing short of immaculate. He is compact, devastatingly efficient, and powerful through every single phase. When he turns that final corner in the 200, the entire crowd rises as one, because they know they are witnessing something truly special. A mere mortal chasing down a legend's immortality. Even his personality perfectly mirrors that relentless pursuit. The colorful hair, the playful, unwavering confidence. Lyles is bringing electrifying entertainment back to the entire track. He absolutely thrives under the blinding spotlight, just as the great Bolt once did. Every race he runs feels like a grand performance. Every celebration becomes a bold statement. And underneath all that dazzling showmanship lies a profound truth. He is working tirelessly to validate every single word with his breathtaking performance. But no modern rivalry is complete without a touch of controversy. It all began with one single phrase that fractured the entire sports world. Usain Lyles. This was a declaration of ultimate confidence. To Bolt, it was a deep and personal insult, and to all the fans, it was like pouring gasoline on a fire that had been waiting to erupt. Bolt's powerful answer was, "Hey bro, just stop it. Put some respect on my name." You see, that was a chilling reminder. The true king does not need to shout to defend his throne. That single sentence reminded everyone who built the very mountain Lyles is now attempting to climb. Within hours, the internet had split itself in two. One side branded Lyles as arrogant, claiming he had not yet earned the right to challenge Bolt's sacred legacy. The other side fiercely applauded him, arguing that such confidence is precisely what greatness demands. After all, every record breaker in history starts by believing they can achieve the impossible. The sports media amplified the brewing drama. Headlines everywhere screamed of a new rivalry. Commentators dissected his every single quote, every tweet, every fleeting glance. And just like that, sprinting was violently thrust back into the global spotlight. For the first time since Bolt's retirement, people were passionately debating track times at their dinner tables again. Even fellow athletes weighed in on the matter. Some supported Lyles, calling him the future, a man bold enough to reignite a burning passion in a sport that desperately needed a new hero. Others sided with Bolt, saying that records are sacred ground and must be deeply respected until the day they are officially broken. Even retired titans like Michael Johnson and Carl Lewis hinted at the incredibly fine line between powerful self-belief and sheer arrogance. Lyles, completely unfazed, simply doubled down. He defiantly told reporters, "If you don't believe that you can be the best, then you have already lost the war." It's a mentality that perfectly mirrors Bolt's own fire from his early days. But with Lyles, that confidence burns with a different fire. It's profoundly personal, almost defiant. He isn't trying to disrespect the legacy, he's fighting to prove his own. And because of this, the entire debate has been transformed. This is no longer just Bolt versus Lyles. This has become a clash of eras, a battle over how fans and history interpret true greatness. Bolt defined the pinnacle of perfection. Lyles, in contrast, is redefining the very meaning of ambition. We're witnessing the Jamaican lightning against the American storm. One man constructed the legend, the other is daring enough to chase it down. As the 2025 season finally unfolds, every single race feels heavier, more significant. Every victory, every millisecond shaved off the clock. Every single gesture is scrutinized under the intense lens of this legendary rivalry. The entire world is watching not just for the times on the clock, but for the story they tell, because deep in their hearts everyone understands. If anyone alive can even approach Bolt's untouchable throne, it is Noah Lyles. And this brings us right to the core of the monumental question. Can he actually accomplish the impossible? The true answer doesn't lie in bold words or flashy headlines, but in the unyielding laws of physics, psychology, and human performance. That is the incredible story we are about to uncover next, because in the world of elite sprinting, only one truth remains absolute. Speed will always fade, but a legacy is forged in eternity. And Noah Lyles isn't just in a race against a stopwatch, he is in a race against the legend himself. When the powerful emotion recedes and the heated debate finally cools, the only thing that remains is pure science. It is cold, incredibly precise, and mercilessly honest. Every movement, every explosive stride, every single fraction of a second that separates Noah Lyles and Usain Bolt can be measured, deeply analyzed, and compared. And when you do that, the truth that emerges is both utterly fascinating and brutally stark. Usain Bolt's biomechanics are nothing short of legendary material. At a towering 6'5", his powerful stride stretched nearly 2.7 meters, letting him cover more ground with fewer steps than anyone in recorded history. Most world-class sprinters require around 45 strides to finish the 100 meters. Bolt accomplished it in just 41. But what made him truly extraordinary was how he managed to combine that incredible length with an unbelievable stride frequency. Larger men almost always lose turnover speed. Bolt simply ignored that rule. He fundamentally rewrote the physics of sprinting. Noah Lyles, by a stark contrast, runs his races with the delicate precision of a master surgeon. His frame is shorter, his cadence is significantly faster, and his form is considered almost textbook perfect. He doesn't just glide, he drives into the track with purpose. His start is sharper, his posture is more controlled, and his transitions are flawlessly smooth. He may lack Bolt's monstrous ground-devouring stride, but he masterfully compensates with immaculate mechanics and a consistent, relentless power output. Where Bolt was a force of raw chaos, perfectly harnessed Lyles is refined precision that has been sharpened by unyielding discipline. Bolt's historic Berlin race in 2009 benefited from a plus 0.9 meters per second tailwind, ideal humidity, and his form at its absolute career peak. Absolutely everything aligned perfectly. That kind of miraculous alignment happens maybe once in a full generation. Lyles' immense challenge isn't merely beating Bolt's record, it's somehow recreating those perfect conditions while achieving a near-perfect human output. Many experts also contend that human speed may be dangerously close to its biological limit. Reaction times at this level can only be improved by tiny milliseconds. Muscular contraction, the body's oxygen processing, our neural response, all of these are capped by the long hand of evolution. So when Lyles dares to chase 9.58, he is not just chasing the ghost of Usain Bolt. He is chasing the very ceiling of human potential itself. But the numbers only tell half of this incredible story. The other, more crucial half exists inside the mind, in the crushing pressure that builds when the entire world calls you the fastest man alive. Bolt carried that incredible burden for nearly an entire decade, and he somehow made it all look completely effortless. The easy laughter, the pre-race dancing, that iconic playful grin. It was never a display of arrogance, it was his psychological armor. He miraculously transformed soul-crushing pressure into legendary performance and pure joy into absolute dominance. Lyles' own relationship with that same pressure is far more open, more exposed and more raw. He has spoken with incredible candor about his struggles with anxiety, his mental health, and the immense weight of the world's expectations. And yet he also transforms that pressure into performance, that joy into dominance. Lyles' journey with this immense pressure is more transparent, more brutally honest. He has openly discussed his battles with anxiety, mental well-being, and the crushing weight of expectation. Yet, it is that very honesty that becomes his fuel. When he stands on that starting line, he wields his emotions like weapons, his anger, his pride, his undying hope, and forges them all into raw explosive power. His confidence is more than just self-belief. It's a breathtaking act of defiance. That is the very core of his strength, especially when the world relentlessly demands the perfection of a legend like Bolt. But with such audacity comes immense risk. Confidence, after all, is a razor-sharp double-edged sword. Where Bolt's confidence inspired awe, Lyles' seems to provoke the world, daring it to challenge him. Each declaration he makes is another crushing layer of expectation piled upon his shoulders. Every single race transforms from a mere competition into a public trial, a referendum on his very legacy and evolution. The more audacious his words, the greater the feats he must perform to validate them. Perhaps, however, this is precisely what the sport has been crying out for: a champion unafraid to bear the crushing weight of belief. Because history teaches us that records are never broken by hesitation. They are utterly shattered by unwavering conviction. So when Lyles takes his place under the stadium lights, with the ghost of Bolt's legend looming beside him, you can feel a palpable spark ignite. It's the very same defiant fire that once made Usain Bolt an unstoppable force. So where does this epic battle of legacies truly stand? Bolt's records 9.58 and 19.19 seconds are not just numbers, they are modern myths. They embody a perfect fusion of god-tier talent, impeccable timing, and a touch of destiny. In the 200 meters, Noah Lyles has crept dangerously close. Now, within a tenth of a second, a mere whisper away from rewriting history itself. However, in the prestigious 100 meters, a vast chasm remains. 9.89 is the mark of an elite, but it is not the sacred 9.58. And in the blink-and-you-miss-it world of sprinting, that small difference is an absolute eternity. Even so, Lyles' relentless pursuit signifies something far greater than mere numbers on a clock. It is proof that belief refuses to be shackled by the limits of the past, that one man still dares to challenge the very concept of impossible. Whether he ultimately shatters the record or not, his quest has already reignited a global conversation, single-handedly dragging the spotlight back to the sport and inspiring millions to dream once more. Usain Bolt will forever be remembered as the divine lightning that strikes only once in a lifetime, but we must not forget that every legendary storm begins with a single defiant spark, and in this very moment that spark wears the red, white, and blue, answering to the name Noah Lyles. And so we are left with a single burning question, the very same one the entire world is asking. Is Noah Lyles truly the chosen one destined to finally rewrite the pages of history? Or will the monumental records of Usain Bolt remain sacred and untouchable for all of eternity?